Next objective, talk to Yuhase, the leprechaun. There you are, Magnanimous. Commander Leverrier instructed me to wait for you. Your assistance is most welcome, believe me. Lothar the Third hail from Mulda, for a man accustomed to feel the sand beneath his boots. The crunch of snow can be rather disconcerting. To the matter at hand. Nary a moment ago, I received word that the heretics we seek have been spotted making for Danafin Pass. My braves are already in pursuit, and I should be grateful if you would join them. I myself shall be taking part in the hunt. Never let it be said that I do not earn my coin. Alright. Let's go, you little leprechaun shit. Balls, my ankle is on fire. Caught my boot on a rock or something and twisted it as I fell. The others went on ahead through Danafin Pass. Hurry and you might catch up. If you aren't sure where to go, look for tracks. The snow is fresh, so they shouldn't be hard to find. Oh, that guy, definitely pulled a Doug. The tracks lead southeast. Okay. Scion, what are you doing here? The heretics? I'm not sure. There was a great scaled beast and... Yuhase, I think he went east on his own. The heretics split up, so we did too. Starting blue coats. Embarrassing. I was so intent on following the heretics' tracks and I almost failed to notice they had doubled back. Almost, mind you. One tried to sneak up behind me and got a knife in the gut for his troubles. I thought myself alone, so I started searching the dead man's knapsack for anything of interest, and lo and behold, before his friends found me, I came upon this. Withdraw in groups of 3 or less to the observatorium. Give the signal and wait. The merchant will be waiting. Be late and be left for dead. Speaks for itself, does it not? That can't possibly mean the rendezvous inside the place, so we should restrict our search to the surrounding areas. Let me rephrase that. You should restrict your search to the wilderness around the observatorium. I will need more than a moment's rest to recover from these wounds. Okay. Well, that's what they're known as to everyone, so... They haven't introduced themselves as anything else Have they? I am through listening to your excuses. We leave now. Ow, the woods are crawling with those blue coats, and the knights are searching every wagon that passes through the gates. Well, stay with him then if you think you'll fare any better. Now, there's no need for that. There are places like this in my homeland, sacred snow-capped peaks where blood must be on the must not be shed. Yet your lands ever thirst for the blood of the fallen. By your deeds, it has drunk deep. No, I have done no wrong. None but meet in secret with heretics. Deny it all you will, we shall have the truth from you yet. Inquisitors are not the only ones skilled in the art of interrogation. Damn it all. Fancy meeting you here, Magnarmus. I presume your work with the Third brought you hither? What a tangled web, lest you wonder. We came not for the heretics, but for the merchant who has been conspiring with them. He came to our attention during the course of our investigation into the Ivy. It beggars belief, I know. But it seems our favorite Garlean spy may have been providing assistance to Iceheart. Were it not for the efforts of Lady Ugiria and her shinobi, we might never have discovered this connection. Master Alphino is too kind. I fear that my people and I have done little to aid your search for this spy. We long to strike back against the Empire and weaken their influence in this land, to prevent the tragedy which befell Doma from reoccurring. The days ahead and the work they promise will require a very particular set of skills which I am fortunate enough to possess, and if you will allow it, I will accompany you until the investigation is complete. That is a most generous offer, Lady Ugiri, and one in which I will gladly accept. Thank you, though I may disappear for a time. Know that I shall never be far, and shall always be watching. A comforting thought. Magnarmus, let us wait inside for Captain Nilbert to return and deliver his report. Did not but speak with heretics. More heresy. Captain Ilberd seemed confident that the merchant's resolve would swiftly crumble when pressed. If so, we should have new information ere long. As to whether it will bring us any closer to learning the Ivy's identity, I would rather not say. Given our adversary's cunning, I shall consider us fortunate if we are spared another wild dodo chase. The gods know what we have more than enough to occupy our time as it is. All right. Captain Nilbert, your report, if you will. Aye, Commander. Firstly, with regard to the heretic we captured, I regret to say the man could tell us naught that we did not already know of Shiva. We have since handed him over to the Ishgardian authorities. Henceforth, the Holy See will pursue the matter independently. Our inquiries concerning the Ivy, however, have proven more fruitful. We have ascertained the channel by which the heretics acquired their information on the shipment routes. One, you will recall the flame we first identified as being in the Ivy's employ. From him we are able to trace a trail of conspirators, each taking us closer to his master. Alas, the trail came to an abrupt end. Fearing that the investigation had been compromised, we took the necessary step of detaining all suspected of conspiracy. There were 5 on our list, including a flame stationed at Revenant's Toll. The man's primary duty was to keep an inventory of donations from abroad. particulars of which he would share with benefactors, thereby ensuring that needs did not go unfulfilled. By virtue of his role, he was privy to the details of all shipments bound for the settlement. Needless to say, that included those originating from House Fortom. He knew the precise route the caravan would take, and he sold that information to a merchant. Yeah, I think I can guess which one. None other. With a little encouragement, he soon confessed to knowingly aiding and abetting the heretics. Well, that is one mystery solved at least, but what of the Ivy? Are we any closer to prizing off his mask? I dare say we are, Commander. Our relentless pursuit has forced him to commit a grave error. In a desperate bid to cover his tracks, the Ivy resorted to exercising certain administrative powers available only to high-ranking members of the Immortal Flames. If you consider then that our investigation is known to barely a handful of them, the field of suspects is greatly narrowed. You mean to say that the agent is among Raban's innermost circle? Someone who has been with him since the Immortal Flames establishment? Here's the most plausible explanation. The infiltration likely occurred during the company's founding, with the groundwork for the act being laid beforehand. To slip into a position of authority unremarked, and remain above suspicion all these years. I too was surprised, though I really should not have been. Of the three grand companies, Oldaz was ever more vulnerable to infiltration. Both Limsa and Gridania had long-standing armed forces that lent themselves to to the formation of the Maelstrom and the Order of the Twin Adder. To all intents and purposes, it was the same people, loyal ones, mine under the same leadership. Only the banner was different. Not so the Flames. Uldah's military was made up of disparate orders, most of which were glorified mercenary companies that answered only to their own paymasters. Hardly an ideal environment in which to establish something as high-minded as a grand company. The difficulties Raban faced when founding the Immortal Flames are well known. Even after he convinced his fellow syndicate members to share the cost, there remained the small matter of finding enough bodies to fill the ranks. Indeed, and given the pressing nature of the Imperial threat, it meant recruiting every passing sellsword. Amidst the chaos of its founding, it would have been child's play to infiltrate the company. A good deal easier than now, The Immortal Flames have ever been caught between conflicting interests, the public and the private. The monetarists ultimately agreed to support the organization's founding. It was not out of charity that they did so, but self-preservation. Had Nail Van Darnus's ambitions been any less apocalyptic, you may be sure that they would never have risked supplying Raban with an army. It's but a wonder they did not attempt to extinguish the flames the moment the danger had passed. Returning to the present. Even as we speak, our Doman allies are shadowing several high-ranking flames, only one of whom could be the Ivy. Desiring to deal a blow against the Empire, the refugees were eager to lend us their aid. I expect to hear from them ere long. Very good. Pray continue your investigation with the first. Meanwhile, the second attend to the unrest, the third can join the fourth in inspecting crystal shipments. If they notice anything unusual, I want to know about it. If Shiva is summoned in like manner to the other primals, the heretics will be looking for further supplies. Understood, Commander. I shall send word to Sir Amaric, informing him of our success in identifying the heretics' abettors. Hopefully the information will be of some use to the Ishgardians. It is time, Commander. Yes, I am aware. An emergency council of the Alliance leaderships has been called. There have been developments in Garlemald, it would seem. As Commander of the Crystal Braves, my presence has been requested. I would have you accompany me, Magnanimous. As the realm's stoutest champion, 'tis only meet that you be present for the discussion. And the antecedent has already given you her consent, lest you worry. Yay, I have to go to a meeting now. Like me, you are doubtless eager to continue your business with Iceheart, but until another path to her sanctum is found, she will remain beyond our reach. In Philia and the Archons are sparing no effort to secure an alternate route. Until such a time as they succeed, I suggest we give some thought to the realm's other problems. I shall go on ahead to Gridania, readiness for the coming council. Meet me at Nofika's altar, and we shall make our way to the Lotus Stand together. My thanks for coming, Magnarmus. When you are ready, speak with the conjurer yonder, and she will show us to the Lotus Stand. Yeah, I've seen that song and dance before. The Alliance leaders await you at the Lotus Stand. Will you be joining them now? Yeah.
Change has come to the Garlean Empire, and we must discuss the implications.
The rumors are true, then? The War of Succession is ended?
It is. A new emperor reigns in Garlemald.
Who?
The birth and all too rapid expansion of the Garlean Empire is commonly attributed to the strategic brilliance of Solus Zosgalvis, yet he did not rule alone. Several members of the royal household also distinguished themselves during his reign. Nevertheless, it was the eldest son who stood to inherit the throne, until his most untimely passing.
I thought us fortunate when I learned that the Emperor had died without naming a successor.
Would that the Garlean Empire had died with him.
Twas the grandson and his uncle who had the strongest claims, was it not?
This hat, he will easily
Yet
win the
claims
stupidest
count
hat
little
award.
without the power to assert them. High Legatus Varus Ye Galvus is a respected military leader. Not so his uncle.
So young Varus has torn the crown from his uncle's grasp and taken his place at the head of the Empire.
Given the troubled nature of his succession, the new emperor will require time to seal his grip on power. Yet have no doubt but that he shall, for there are none left with strength enough to oppose him.
Since the success of Operation Archon, the remnants of the 14th Legion and the forces occupying Alamigo have done naught but fortify their positions. But you can be sure they'll be ready to march on us again, if their Emperor gives the word.
When, not if. They say this Varus was so set upon Eorzean annexation that he spoke out against the Meteor Project.
Plainly, the new Emperor's intentions are of great concern to us all. I propose that we set aside the Cartano dispute for the present, and discuss what measures the Alliance might take to prepare for a resumption of hostilities with Garlemald. Moreover, I move that we re-examine the question of how our former allies in Ishgard might be persuaded to retake their place at our side. Could Eorzea but stand as one, 'twould deal a grave blow to our enemies' ambitions.
Well, I suppose we should be grateful that they have finally acknowledged the inevitability of Imperial attack. Who knows? They may even do something about it. If only the leaders of Ishgard would follow their example and stop hiding behind their gates, praying for the coming storm to pass them by. But that is a discussion for another time. At present, I am more concerned by the fact that the Alliance's mooted preparations will be made known to the Garleans many moons before their coming. So long as the Ivy eludes our grasp, no secret is safe.
It will not have escaped your notice that the nations of Eorzea are no nearer to being of one purpose, despite their protestations to the contrary. Plainly, the threat of a resurgent Garlemald is not enough to stir them, and the reason for this deep-rooted mistrust amongst the citizenry. The nation's leaders can come to all the understandings they like, but their unity means little unless to the common folk. Take the Lemenzins, for instance. Though Admiral Merwib outlawed piracy over a decade ago, foreigners still picture the nation as a haven for grog-swilling, wooden-legged cutthroats. And likewise, Gridanians are mocked as hermits who talk to trees, and the Uldans scorned as swindlers who worship coin. Not that such sentiments are entirely without grounds, of course. Take that pillar of Uldan society Teleji Adeleji, for example. But that is beside the point. The fact that people are wary of outsiders, whether they have cause to be or not. On that basis, one could argue that the conflict at Cartano is a necessary evil. Each nation has its own warmongering faction that advocates the acquisition of Omega. In order to placate them, we present them something resembling warfare, and thereby curb the appetite for full-scale conflict. But enough idle musing. Let us speak of a more pressing matter, the Ivy. Since we spoke at the Observatorium, Captain Ilbert has further shortened his list of suspects, and by happy coincidence, one of them he deems the most likely candidate is lately come to Gridania. The hunt nears its end, Magnarmus. All that remains is to corner our quarry and seek out Ilbert near the Adder's Nest. He will give you the particulars. Should there be any developments in Kurthus, you may be sure that I will send word without delay in the meantime. I wish you success in apprehending the Ivy. Talk with him then. My thanks for coming, Scion. Doubtless the commander has informed you, but we have unmasked the Ivy. From this point on, we must proceed with extreme caution. Listen well, the spy we have been seeking all this time is none other than Flame Marshal Aline Royale, Raban's second in command. Prior to joining the Immortal Flames, she was a mercenary of no small renown. They say her skill with a polearm had to be seen to be believed. Of Asgardian birth, she is the highest ranked foreigner in the Immortal Flames, barring the Flame General himself, of course. When he formed the Grand Company, Raban chose people based on their worth. Whence they hailed was of no interest. The Monitorists saw things differently, however. Having funded the enterprise, they reserved the right to reject candidates nominated for high-ranking positions. And 'twas no secret that they did not favor foreigners, Ishgardians especially, after the way the Holy See forsook the Alliance. Yet the Monitorists did not raise so much as a murmur of protest when Royale was appointed to her post. Passing strange, is it not? Could it be that the Ivy has some hold over the Monitorists? But these revelations are secondary to our current mission. It is our foremost interest to us is Royale's presence here now. As you may be aware, it is the duty of the Flame Marshal to command the Immortal Flames in the absence of the Flame General. While Raban attended the Council of the Alliance leaders, she should have remained in the Hall of Flames. The woman has no business being in Gridania, yet here she is nonetheless. On some pretense, she is up to something, mark my words. Even as we speak, I have a dozen men trawling the Flames records for evidence of Royale's guilt. But if we catch her red-handed, we shall have all the proof we need. Which brings me to the plan. I have people watching the city gates, the airship landing in the docks. Every point of egress she cannot leave without our knowledge. All that remains is to shadow her until she betrays her true purpose. Can I rely upon your eyes, Scion? Yeah, my thanks. Let us go then. Take care not to alert our quarry. Royale is headed in the direction of the Blue Badger Gate. With me, Scion. So Royale has entered the car line canopy. Meeting someone perhaps? Chance? Or could it be she means to board an airship? Pray look for her within. If she is not on the upper floor, try the landing area below. One of mine is stationed there, and she may have seen something. Athemi is her name. I shall remain here in case Royale reappears. Ignore Stark's blade, such an unexpected pleasure. What brings you here? A social visit, you say? How pleasant. No, she didn't come this way. I noted every passenger and none bore any resemblance. Well, don't let me keep you. Go back and speak with Ilberd. Nowhere to be seen, you say? And you're sure she did not board an airship? She did not come back out either. Where in the seven hells could she have gone? But Roost, how could I forget? Greetings, sir. Might I interest you in some Muntoy tonic? A cup a day imbues a man's strength with vigor. If you take my meaning, heh. Perhaps another time, friend. Wait, that necklace. You're a shinobi of Doma. The woman you seek has left Gridania by way of West Shore Pier. She was attired as a merchant, but these eyes are not so easily deceived. You say she wished to take. You may wish to take your search to the East Shroud. Rest assured that we shall continue to support you from the shadows. One of the Doman refugees showed up, and thank the 12 for the Domans. Were it not for their unique talents, Royale would have disappeared without a trace. Good old ninja allies. Our hunt leads us to East Shroud, Scion. I suggest we follow Royale's example and take the ferry from West Shore Pier. You've your doubtless wish to make certain preparations. See to them while I go on ahead. I shall wait for you in Sweet Bloom Pier. Yeah, all we had to do was give him a place to live. Sweet Bloom Pier. Yep. This way, my friends. Your quarry makes for the Hawthorne Hut. If Royale is truly the one we seek, we can expect that she means to make contact with her Garlean masters there. An explanation is in order. You are no doubt aware that the Garleans have their own method of communicating over great distances. With our ingenious friends at Garland Ironworks have provided us with devices which disrupt these communications, and we have installed them around the city-states in so doing. We've made it difficult for Imperial agents to correspond with their masters. Royale would thus have no choice but to rendezvous with her Imperial contact directly. Yet, as a well-known face in the Immortal Flames, she cannot move about Thanalan without being recognized. It would only be a matter of time before someone saw through her disguise. It's for this reason I believe that she has chosen the Black Shroud for her clandestine meeting. The Elysian are a common sight here, and her comings and goings are not like turn any heads. As my scouts tell it, the Garleans have sent agents with a mind to destroy the devices and render such direct contact unnecessary. Fortunately, our shinobi have thus far been successful in rebuffing their efforts. This is it. We need only make for Hawthorne's hut and catch Royale in the act. Many people report that our quarry. My people report that our quarry has departed from for the Bramble Patch. Ivy returned to the Gnarls when she came, but perhaps it is all for the better. To convince someone of her standing, we will require damning evidence against her. What could be better than to catch her in the act when she meets with her Garlean masters? My countrymen and I shall lie in wait in the shadows. Tread warily, my friends. Just beyond, Royal is conversing with an individual clad in the manner of an adventurer. An imperial intermediary, no doubt. This is it, with me. Flame Marshal Aline Royale, you are under arrest for treason and espionage. You are followed, you bloody fool. Nation. You are unarmed, my lady, scarcely garbed for battle. But if you wish to fight, you are welcome to try. What is the meaning of this, Captain? You would arrest me for strolling in the Twelfthwood when last I looked, this was no crime, and neither was conversing with passing strangers. You would feign ignorance then, very well. If you think it's something to say, there will be plenty of time to say it later. Now come quietly, or I shall make you wish you had. I will offer you no struggle. After all, I have naught to hide. And just dropping in. Even a warrior of Royale's renown could not have hoped to escape by force, despite her claims. Her surrender does not bespeak innocence, but an awareness that her position is untenable. With the ivy thus uprooted, it is to be hoped that the tendrils she entwined around the immortal flames will gradually wither and die. Mayhap then the people of Volda will have the grand company they deserve. But let us speak of the present. May I ask, what will you do now, Magnarmus? So the Scions seek away into Iceheart's sanctum. Then I dare say you are eager to return to the Rising Suns. Pray do not let me keep you. Fear not, my countrymen and I shall tend to the aftermath. You need not waste your talents here. Speaking of talents, have you considered training in the art of the shinobi? You have an aptitude for it, I believe. So please give it some thought. Till next time, my friend. Welcome back, Magnarmus. I understand that Alphino is a task for you. May I ask what that was? Charges of treason and espionage against Aline Royale? I can scarce believe it. Could there not have been some manner of misunderstanding? No, it avails us not to dwell on it. Whatever the truth may be, we must trust that the authorities will uncover it. Let us speak to another matter. I am pleased to report that we have made progress in our efforts to find a way into Iceheart's sanctum. As you may recall, Iceheart used the Aetheryte in the depths of Snowcloak to teleport a short distance to the west. most likely to a sanctuary of some description. It is there that we suspect she means to summon Shiva using the crystal she stole from the House for Tom caravan. The heretics believe that they are bringing about the second coming of their patron saint. But if, as we suspect, they mean to hold a summoning ritual of the kind employed by the beast tribes, it seems likely that the result will be something more akin to a primal. Suffice it to say, they must be stopped. And stop them we shall, but first, we must surmount the obstacle that Iceheart has placed in our path. Ordinarily, it would be a simple matter to tap into the established Ethernet and thereby follow our quarry. However, despite our best efforts, we have been unable to ascertain the position of the Aetherite to which she teleported. Our prevailing theory is that she destroyed the second Aetherite upon arrival. A reckless, desperate measure, but also an effective one. In discussing the matter at length with Urianger, we have concluded that we lack the expertise to develop a solution. Which is why we have called upon the aid of someone who does possess such an expertise, a colleague of ours who is currently en route to Revenant's Toll from Charlayan. She should be arriving within the hour, in fact. Since you are here, mayhap we could welcome her together. I am certain she would appreciate the gesture. Let us make our way to the northern gates and await her coming. All city-state of ninjas.
Minfilia, am I right?
None other. I bid you welcome to Revenant's Toll, and thank you for traveling so far on such short notice.
As if I could ever say no to Urianger.
Moonbreeder is an accomplished Charlian scholar and an authority on Aetherite technologies. She has played an invaluable role in our search for a means to capture Ascian souls.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Let us return to the Rising Stones at once, then. We have much to discuss.
It's been ages!
Oh, longer, sister.
A joyous reunion indeed. Well, of course it is. Moon and I are like twin sisters.
Save in appearance and aptitude.
Everyone, if I could have your attention. We have with us an esteemed guest who has come from Sharlayan to assist us. I bid Moonbreeder join us here that she might share with us her extensive knowledge of Aetherites. Also, as many of you are already aware, she has been overseeing our research into white auracite, a sample of which she has been good enough to bring with her.
Well, I had to come, didn't I? You'd have to be bloody daft to turn your nose up at a chance like this. Where better to conduct my final tests than a land so steeped in ether you can taste it?
'Tis plain the passage of the years hath done little to dampen thy youthful spirits. And nothing at all to reform thy youthful manner.
Oriange, where in the hells have you been hiding?
Unhand me.
I come all this way, and that's what you have to say to me. I much preferred when you were pleading with me to drop everything and hurry to your side. What was it you said? None save thee can satisfy this need.
Go on. Thine artless attempts to misrepresent mine all too innocent motives do thee little credit. Mine intent, as well thou knowest, was but to impress upon thee the gravity of the circumstance. Lest thou doubt, a deiform entity shall shortly be summoned, save if thou and no other grantest my compeers thine aid.
You still haven't found it, then? Your missing Aetherite?
We have not. No. We know that Iceheart teleported to an Aetherite not far from the first. Yet even after careful analysis, we could not locate the second beacon. We now suspect that the heretics destroyed the second Aetherite to impede our pursuit. Our allies continue to scour Snowcloak for Iceheart's sanctuary, but we have no guarantee that they will find it. Yet it must be found, for even now Iceheart prepares to call upon Saint Shiva.
I'm sorry, but if the Aetherite's been destroyed, then that's that. Although, you're absolutely sure she used the first Aetherite, are you? She didn't just use teleportation magics?
One of our own bore witness to her escape. I can say with absolute certainty that Iceheart used the Aetherite.
In that case, there might be a way, so long as the ethereal current is still flowing.
Truly? How?
We use the current to recreate the beacon. As you know, Aetherites are a bit like lighthouses. We use them to reconstitute our physical forms when crossing the ethereal sea. Without them, we'd lose all sense of direction and our essence would dissipate. However, we don't rely solely on these beacons. There are currents of ether which flow between them, currents which help guide us to our destination. Now, these currents will gradually dwindle away to nothing if an Aetherite is destroyed. But if even a sluggish flow remains, we could theoretically use it to direct a surge of concentrated ether towards the void left by the beacon, and thereby fill it up again.
Like opening the floodgates to fill a dry riverbed. Though, correct me if I'm wrong, But would we not need a veritable reservoir of ether?
In concert, we might manage to channel a sufficient volume, yet that is not my chief concern. To direct the flow of so great a volume of ether with the requisite precision would be a nigh impossible task in itself.
I barely succeeded in facilitating travel to an unattuned beacon. That which you describe sounds considerably more difficult.
And dangerous. Every person who has attempted to teleport in this fashion has died in the process. They, however, did not have white aura sight at their disposal. I can use it to channel all the ether you can give me into the aetheryte. However, white aura sight cannot retain ether for an extended period of time, so we would need to infuse it immediately beforehand. Just so you know, I'd confidently give this plan better than even odds of success. And if the worst comes to worst, your people won't suffer.
Though it risk the lives of our best and brightest, we have not the time to seek other options. If the ethereal current still flows, we shall carry out Moonbreeder's plan.
That's the spirit. Let's roll the dice.
I have already informed Alphano of our plan to recreate the beacon in the manner Moonbreeder described. He agreed that despite the inherent danger, it represents our only hope of success. He also said that he wished to meet you at Snowcloak before proceeding. I expect you will find him waiting for you when you arrive. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done on our behalf, Magnarmus, and that I have faith you will return to us, as you always have. Dun dun dun. And we're going, and we're flying. And we're here. Good to see you, Magnarmus. I was starting to wonder if you were having second thoughts. Captain Ilberd sends his regards, by the way. He attends to the interrogation of Elaine Royale in Old Aa even as we speak. But I shall not distract you from the matter at hand. We can discuss the IV upon your return. I trust that by which I mean to say, the others are waiting for us at the Aetherite. After you, Scion. There, it's ready. it worked, I think. Try attuning to the ether right now. Fear for the current, and then try to locate the beacon. We have done all we can, Magnarmus. For now, let us withdraw. When our final preparations are complete, you must seek out the beacon we have created. If, by the grace of the 12, you arrive safely, you must stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva. Cannot ignore the possibility that our actions have alerted Iceheart to our plans. Should that be the case, we may attempt to hasten the completion of the summoning ritual. And if she succeeds, you will have little choice but to face Shiva in battle. Knowing little of this saint, I cannot say if your own strength will suffice, and so I should encourage you to call upon your allies. Some may have reservations about waging their lives to the success of Moonbreeder's experiment, but others will surely agree that desperate times call for desperate measures. Before you assemble your party, pray speak with that knight. I believe he has a message for you from Sir Aymeric. Sir Aymeric regrets that he could not be here in person, and asks that I read you this letter. Ishgard faces an unprecedented threat, yet in our hour of need, it is not her knights who stand poised to defend her. Magnarmus Darkblade, the warrior of light, savior of Eorzea. Your deeds this day shall not be forgotten. Where others would flee, you choose to remain. Where others would falter, you rise to the challenge. Where others would use their gifts for selfish ends, you wield yours in service to the greater cause. May Helone bless you with good fortune and see you safely home. Wow, 21 minutes. Yep. 24 minutes. Yeah, 4-minute wait. You sold your ATV to Jim? Ah, swap the ATV for the snowmobile. Could go buy another piece of gear while I wait. And not for these. They can for the 4-mans. Those aren't really an issue to get people for. To get the boots. And I'll be set well into Heaven's Ward. Try using Party Finder, but there we go. Heaven's Ward is 3.0. Which comes after 2.5. Oh. Yay. Hit the button, hit the button. Do it, do it, do it. Do it. Yep. Alright, we're in. What's up?
You should never have come here, warrior of light.
You came right at the best moment.
To forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down. We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Kill the ads! Big damage! There we go. Wrecked. And we won.
Fool. Blind, bloody fool. You, of all people, should understand the suffering war begets. That no sacrifice is too great if it brings an end to the violence. Mine is the righteous cause. You fight in a war you do not understand. A pawn of liars and schemers. And they are no less ignorant than you, following the creed of their fathers without question, never thinking to ask why. Trapped in a delusion of their own creation, and blind to the truth. Warrior of Light, redemption is not beyond us. We who walk before may lead those who walk after. Seek the Keeper of the Lake. See with eyes unclouded. Do not squander Mother's gift.
Oh shit, she's talking to Heidelin too.
And so the vessel withdraws, a predictable outcome. Nevertheless, La Habrea will be pleased. How unfortunate.
Quiet, Captain Sideburns. By the 12, you're alive. I mean, of course you're alive. Why wouldn't you be? Iceheart did what? Are you certain about that? Are you? The Urbanians are skilled with glamours, after all. Look, if you say that's what you saw, I believe you. It's just that I've never heard of a primal being summoned like that before. Are you sure you're not injured? Head trauma? Has been known to cause hallucinations, you see? No? Fair enough. I was only asking. If you ask me, there's naught to be gained from mulling over the implications of your story in the freezing cold. Let's save it for the Rising Stones, eh? I'll get everyone to meet us there. Ah, but before that, you had best pay a visit to Whitebrim Front and speak with Alphino. He's probably worried sick about you. That or he's busy playing at politics with the Asgardians. Either way, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see you hale and healthy. Speaking of which, you don't have a headache or anything, do you? No? Blurred vision? Oh, no reason. See you again soon. There he is, and none the worse for wear. Was there ever any doubt that the Warrior of Light would succeed? I think I speak for all of us when I say that I should like nothing more than to hear the stirring tale of your victory, if you would be so kind. Well, I beat Shiva's ass. Then we were too late to prevent the summoning. But not too late to prevent further loss of life, an outcome worthy of celebration. and one for which we have Magnarmus to thank. Yes, you are right, of course, Sir Emmerich. We should be content with that, with what we have accomplished. I, for one, could not have wished for a better outcome. Shiva is no longer a threat, and the heretics have been rooted. Aye, there is the matter of Iceheart's escape, but she cannot run forever. Whether it takes days, weeks, moons, or even years, my knights will find her. In the meantime, Lord Dromont, is the caravan ready? The supplies that your men have recovered have been prepared for transport, in accordance with your wishes. Rest assured that my knights will see them safely to Revenant's Toll. Of that I have no doubt. I take it these are the self-same supplies the heretics stole from the House Fortom caravan? Less the crystals which comprise the bulk of the shipment, yes. Scarcely a fraction of that which was promised, but a meaningful contribution to your cause all the same. Oh, and on an unrelated note, Magnarmus, might I trouble you to accompany me to Camp Dragonhead at your earliest convenience? It is not for my benefit. A certain lord was most distressed when he learned of your intent to risk life and limb to Stipe Iceheart. It took half a dozen knights to restrain him, I am told. Men give vent to their anxieties in a myriad ways. Pray do not think less of him. The one where I set it to auto advance so I don't have to click it manually through the voice cutscenes. Yeah, that's me doing that. That's me setting it to auto advance. I can just chill and watch without having to hit A over and over again. Old Harshaphon. What were you thinking, Magnarmus, wagering your very being on a dubious theory which might allow you to enter Iceheart's lair, knowing full well that she could have sufficient forewarning to complete her ritual to summon Shiva anyway? And then engaging the abomination in mortal combat? By the fury, Magnarmus, 'tis the stuff of ballads. A battle for the ages. Would that I had been there to fight by your side. Yet here I was forced to await, condemned to wonder at the fate of a dear friend for a veritable eternity. I would not wish such torture on my most hated enemy. But you are here now, and that is what truly matters. Let us move on. Sir Emmerich wished to have words with you and Master Alphino in private. He awaits you in the intercessory. Less traveled. Ah, there. Intercessory. Greetings, sir. I shall show you in at once. Alright. This a voice cutscene.
On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard,
Yes, it is.
allow me to express my deepest thanks. Never before have we been required to contend with a primal. Indeed, there were fears in some quarters that our knights might not be equal to the task. From what we have now learned of these beings, I can say with certainty that we would have lost a great many men had the Scions not intervened.
Then the argument for preemptive action should be self-evident. Perchance now you will reconsider my proposal that Ishgard move against Nautalon.
Ere we first met, a similar proposal was tabled, but the Holy See decreed that we were to observe, and that military action should be taken only in self-defense. All things considered, it was not an unreasonable decision. Since the calamity, 2 vigils have fallen to the Horde, while Garuda has never shown any inclination to storm the gates of judgment. Which is why this unprecedented crisis and its resolution may prompt a change in policy. You who have faced these primals know well the threat they pose. Ishgard did not. Not until now. And there is naught like a brush with death to change a man's outlook.
At the very least, this should silence any lingering objections to our arrangement with Revenant's Toll. The Holy See may even feel moved to grant us its formal endorsement.
So far as it is possible, the Scions shall be compensated for their service.
We should be grateful for any aid you can provide.
As a gesture of good faith, I shall withdraw my previous request. Your people are doubtless needed elsewhere.
That will not be necessary. We too have a vested interest in watching Dravania's movements.
I see. Once more, I must thank you.
Sir Emmerich, if I may, do you truly believe that Midgardsormr could return?
The heavens are a window unto truth, but those who interpret their movements are not infallible. I requested your involvement as a precautionary measure.
But of course, you sought an excuse to compensate us from the first, mindful of what would happen if Revenant's Toll were taken by your enemies. Ishgard is not wont to aid its neighbors, but that does not preclude it from manipulating them to serve its own interests.
Choose your next words carefully.
Do you know what sort of man becomes Lord Commander of the Temple Knights? One who comes from good stock. I did not. Yet here I am. Now, why do you suppose that is? Because I swiftly learned to tell the difference between words, deeds, and beliefs. You are correct, Master Leveilleur. Ishgard desires to see Revenant's Toll flourish, as it would present a troublesome obstacle to our enemies from the south.
We are so glad to be of use to you.
As we are to you. Ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement, lest we forget, one born of necessity. The dragons grow more restless by the day, and the heretics harry us nigh without cease. We have contended with such troubles for centuries, but there are limits to even our endurance. Yet as a pauper is loath to part with his meager possessions, the leaders of Ishgard are not wont to render up their trust to outsiders. But with perseverance on our part, they may yet be made to see the light. Nevertheless, one must take care when walking the road less traveled.
Wise words, Sir Emmerich. I shall make a point to remember them. I must apologize for my earlier outburst. I hope it will not sour our good relations.
Not at all. You but spoke from the heart. I trust you understand that at times my duties may prevent me from meeting with you. On such occasions, my second-in-command will speak for me.
Lucia, at your service. Pray excuse our reticence. We are but wary of speaking too freely, lest our sentiments be made known to our enemies. Know that the Lord Commander and I are of one mind. For the sake of Ishgard, and of Eorzea at large, I pray our peoples can put aside their differences. Those who dwell in the past risk losing sight of their future.
Should aught befall one of our shipments, pray inform Lucia immediately. You may also relay to her any words you might have for me alone. Not being of Ishgardian birth, she owes no allegiance to any noble house, making her as near to incorruptible as one can find in my homeland. Suffice it to say, I trust her completely, and so may you. Which reminds me, Lord Orchefort, if you would be so kind?
Certainly.
In times such as these, trust is ever in short supply. Mayhap this will go some way to rectify the problem. The results of our investigation into the heretics' recent attacks, as well as our interrogation of the merchant you detained.
Sir Emmerich, I cannot thank you enough.
Think nothing of it. Ishgard may be many things, but it is no friend to Garlemald.
Did I not tell you to have faith, my friend?
And that's when I found out that Haurchefant was secretly George Michaels. It would seem we have much to discuss with our friends at the Rising Stones. If what you say is true, Iceheart's method of summoning Shiva defies all precedent. It necessitates a complete reprisal of the primal threat, and of our approach to combating it. Moreover, there are grave ramifications if word of this incident reaches Imperial ears. The Garlean Empire believes that primals are an insufferable menace, that their mere existence is a threat to this very star. As such, they deem any action taken against the beast tribes to be justified by default. Imagine then if it came known that it was not only the beast tribes of Eorzea that could summon primals, but her civilized peoples as well. Any lingering objections to the Eorzean campaign would vanish overnight. Where before we had to contend with a single Imperial Legion, we could well find ourselves facing the combined might of all Garlemald. But I speak unadvisedly. Come, Magnarmus, it is better that we continue this conversation in Mordona. The Rising Stones. Because you gotta have faith.
Words cannot well express how glad I am to see you return to us hale and whole. Needless to say, I am most eager to hear your account of that which occurred in Kurthis, assuming you're ready to speak of it. Excellent. I shall summon the others at once.
So anyway, that bitch turned herself into a primal, and then I beat her ass.
Iceheart used her own body as a vessel for a primal soul?
Master Louisoir's writings make no mention of such a possibility. Can we be certain this entity was a primal?
As certain as we can be that good King Mogulmog the 12th was a primal, I should think. Both were ostensibly summoned.
Let's not quibble over definitions. Of more concern is the implication that Iceheart retained her will, even after she was possessed. We are talking about a mortal, wielding the power of a primal.
It can't possibly be that easy, can it? There must be some sort of sacrifice required. Or maybe she's just special?
What qualities this woman possesseth, I know not, but full sure am I that she was groomed for this role. Few are privy to the secrets of summoning, and but a single party standeth to profit from their dissemination.
Well, I wouldn't presume to comment on how the lass came to know about summoning, but I will say that what she summoned was a primal. The readings were the same, or near as damn it. Strange as it all sounds, it's really no different from what you've faced before.
Then mayhap it is time that we re-examined our previous encounters.
Pack your things, Ida. We're going back to Gridania.
Yes, sir.
About Iceheart's final words to you. Hear, feel, think. Hydaelyn speaks to her as well. If Iceheart is blessed with the power of the Echo, she will doubtless have used it to further her goals. Or could it be that it was a revelation granted her by the Echo which first set her on this path? She did say that the Ishgardians were blind to the truth. Do you think she has knowledge of the origins of the Ishgardian-Dravanian War? It would do much to explain her unwavering conviction.
Did not the Lady Iceheart implore thee to seek the Keeper of the Lake? And did she not imply that in so doing thou wouldst come to see with eyes unclouded?
Midgard-Zoma was a king amongst kings who reigned for centuries on end. But he is dead and his wisdom lost to the ages. Unless the Ishgardians' fears are well-founded. It would seem we have yet another reason to stand watch over the Keeper of the Lake. For a mercy, we are well positioned to do so. Iceheart, Shiva, Ascians, and Midgard-Zoma. I shudder to think how they're all connected.
I mean to scour the annals for knowledge of Midgard-Zoma, given his great age. I dare say that he appears in more than a few. Do you hear that? The commotion outside? Would you see if aught is amiss? Enormous! It is well that you are on hand. We have a problem. Royale has escaped. It happened shortly after the Immortal Flames took her into custody. She had been placed in a dungeon cell ahead of her coming trial, but apparently the accommodation was not to her liking. The turnkey was found slain along with 2 guards. 'Tis plain she received inside help. Citizens report seeing Royale quitting the city via Gate of Nald, with a bloodied spear in her hand. She makes for the Castrum Meridianum. I am certain of it. With her fate in Eorzea as good as sealed. What recourse has she but to flee to her imperial masters? Even as we speak, Captain Ilbert and the First are hot upon Royale's heels. Pray make haste to Camp Bluefog and join the hunt. The spy escaped. Go beat her ass. My thanks for coming, Scion. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Royale walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked right through. You did not mishear. We have Raban's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her. And so here we are. Royale must not be allowed to reach Castrum Meridianum. Let's go. Up here. A little higher. Okay. Seed. This wretch was with Royale. He threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own. The god's damned harpy. With me, Scion, we almost have her. Let's go. I want Royale alive. Kill the rest for Eorzea. Time to beat some tin-head ass. Hey, David showed up. Reinforcements. Look sharp, men. Okay. Show them no quarter. Gotta kill their healer. Healer's down. Healer's down. How many more reinforcements you got? And she is down. Find her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, men. She and her Imperial cronies pushed up close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. What would you know of low? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's given right to rule over others? You know not of our plight, the injustice that we low-bornish guardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive, stealing, killing, even whoring myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagined me a paragon when I joined the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think the only person ever to have you're the only person to ever have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Raban himself was born into poverty, as was I. We lived hand to mouth with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor do we begrudge others for their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we'd been dealt, and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. Or are we any different then? 'Tis true that we are both mercenaries of lowly birth, and 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, you, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it's that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Uldal to face justice, and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. Not so much as a hint of remorse. 'Tis well that this sordid business is finally at an end. Friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Raban chose his.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Raban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Unamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Game of Thrones is going on here. Captain Ilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Raban. And that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. But I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Menphilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held Royale in high regard. For better or worse, she will want to know how this tale ends. To the Rising Stones. Is she did sell more than her comrades.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alfino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Robon, Eileen lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Asians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moonbreeder, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Asian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Asian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Asian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Asians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had two pieces of white auracite? One to trap the Asian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
'Twould seem more research is in order.
I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the auracite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Sharlayan motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident of the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the Isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the Isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldessian. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement, but I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the media project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate.
Healthy helping of
lest
ears.
more primals emerged to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Varus Zos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit
It's all right,
from
David.
war,
Don't worry about
it isn't
seeing that
hard
show.
to imagine who her other masters
It's such
were.
a shit ending, it ruined the whole thing.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or Monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk, and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
Or betrayal and murder.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monetarist scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! Today I will purge this land of your sickness! Before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Uldar whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Uldar's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to
All right,
beat
catch you later,
Raban.
David.
Eorzea can ill afford for the Immortal Flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Uldar.
The true wealth of Uldar lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Uldar to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Roban to preserve order and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves. For a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Uldar.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Uldar will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Roban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
Dragons. I am most eager to address the Ascian threat, however we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that Saint Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you forget, Antecedent, the Scions need not shoulder the burden alone. We're not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason. True, we are presented with a multitude of problems. We all have the resources we need to address them in turn. Magnarmus in particular is ever a steadying hand, who I trust will continue the support of to support the Braves. To what do we owe the pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Ul'dah? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest-ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Telegiad Alegi and his monstrous ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Raban needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments, to issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. And so, for the foreseeable future, I think it would be best if I were to remain in Ul'dah, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have matters here well in hand. And Britta's research is proceeding as planned? So she tells me, though I am not familiar with the details. Urianger is poring over his tombs in the Waking Sands, and the others are contributing in their own ways. At last, the key problem now is how to form an ethereal blade at will remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Magnarmus, while I focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alphino and his Braves in theirs. It would do much to restore faith in the Immortal Flames if the Warrior of Light has been working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. As ever, I implore you to do so. Not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding in our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend before my departure, such as receiving Riol's latest report. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish kept secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Ul'dah riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once in the usual fashion. Pleasure as always, Magnarmus. You'll be escorting the commander to Ul'dah, I take it. Actually, I had another task in mind for him. If you would be so kind as to repeat your report for his benefit. Righty then. Me and mine have been making inquiries into the source of the weapons that found their ways into the refugee hands a ways back. So happens we caught wind of something promising. A rather large purpose of sharp and pointy things by a black marketeer holed up near Highbridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting. Clients that, for whatever reason, would prefer for this transaction to remain secret. Brings me to mind that merchant was caught an arrow while talking to Magnarmus, don't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind. If you want to be sure, might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods. Savvy? Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Magnarmus? Then it is settled. Rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at Highbridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I must leave for Ul'dah and I expect good tidings. Alright, back to meet Ilbert. Magnarmus, my scouts have been keeping a close eye on the Black Marketeer, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard, common thugs of no consequence, but they nevertheless pose the threat. Even so, I feel compelled to apologize. This is far beneath a man of your standing, and Commander Lavalier needn't have dispatched you hither. But powerful men have need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, it is only natural that he would come to rely upon you without hesitation. Now then, we should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure that the clients do not escape. With me, Magnarmus. Alright. On we go. To the end. I spy one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. While you approach the sentry and create a distraction, my men and I will slip past and capture the Black Marketeer unawares. Once you've disposed of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Let us be off. Good luck, my friend. What's up, bitch? Who goes there? An adventurer? Damn fool. You should have never come here. One down. Oh, he's got a stick. In the face. And another one down. Wait for Elbert. I don't understand. What's this all about? Ah! As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out. But before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard, and to bring in an inexperienced recruit. Commander Levalier will be most disappointed. Damn it all, a golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, do we not... Why do I jump extremely high? Why not? We know not how they slip past our perimeter. At present, the first is currently tracking a party of Duskwhite sellswords we suspect may be them. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the Immortal Flames or the Brass Blades, and here we are to aid them, and they're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least, we've secured the weapons. Yet even that accomplishment is lacking, for the information we received indicated a massive shipment, and this is anything but. Did he? I'll join the first in their hunt for the Duskwhite sellswords. If the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. the meantime, I ask that you deliver these weapons to Ul'dah in my stead. Trust them to the 3rd Yu Hase. He'll take care of the rest. Damn. Turn since it's free. Ah, the warrior of light, ever reliable friend of the Crystal Braves. My deepest thanks for your assistance in Kurthus. Now what brings you to us this day? Here you go. A gift of weapons from a certain black marketeer, courtesy of Captain Ilberd, you say? Understood. Once we've catalogued the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. This cannot be in it. Everything, can it? Riel stated with confidence that there would be a far greater quantity of weapons. A blatant falsehood, clearly. Royal is unfamiliar with the ways of Ul'dah merchants, who ever strive to present themselves as greater than they really are. We should be thankful that his information is not completely erroneous, and that we've managed to achieve anything of worth at all. It's still something worth celebrating, isn't it, Lieutenant? Besides, we've got more important things to worry about, like fighting those Garleans up north. There'll be no fighting if we have anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand watch and not to seek glory in battle. If you've no further need of us, then I shall take my unit to Cerulean Processing Plant. Time for the 4th to earn their keep, eh? Time for the 4th to earn their keep, eh? Ah, fight well, Aelion, for the freedom of all. Alright. Do I get to ditch the Leprechaun now? Nope. Excellent work as always, my friend. Rest assured that the Immortal Flames will hear of your contribution until we meet again. He's still totally a fucking leprechaun. Magnarmus, a word if it please you. Not here. Look for me at Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need for whistling this time. Don't you worry. Into town. Thanks for indulging my request. Few places better than a market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and bustle of commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the Burning Wall, when you and Captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything. Leave no detail out. That's not quite how the first told it. These Duskwights they were chasing. Latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw him yourself? Not before the fighting started, and not after? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in me bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boasts. Our information was reliable, goddammit. I know he purchased those weapons. As if I've ever deciphered a moneylender's books, or had never deciphered a moneylender's books, or had to follow a transaction back to its source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking Gil from the wrong sort of benefactors. Of course, these days money flows like water, and the first and third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, friend. I have a lot on my mind these days. I appreciate you lending an ear. Right then. Best get back to it. He thinks something fishy's up. Magnarmus, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you're able. Back to the Rising Stones. Thank you for coming so quickly, Magnarmus. We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. A most determined lady by all indications. Our guest is with the Antecedent and Solar at present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we?
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragon Star burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers. Not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragon Star is said to accompany the roar of a great worm. The astrologians believe that it was Midgard Soma himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Gallian fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Urianger has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragon Star portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgard Zorma had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgard Sorma. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept? We knew you would not
smell a
disappoint
dungeon
us.
coming.
Now, if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
war with the dragons. The dragons are coming, guys. Forgive me if I state aught you already know, but I would ensure that you understand the nature of your destination. Yep. As Orion just stated, we now call the Keeper of the Lake. It is the wreckage of the Agrius, the former flagship of the Imperial fleet, and the corpse of the worm responsible for this destruction. 15 years ago, as the next step in his campaign to subjugate Eorzea, Gaius Van Belzar attempted to seize control of Mordona. So massive was his force that all thought victory was a foregone conclusion. But an unlikely ally came to Eorzea's aid that day, Midgardsormr, legendary guardian of Silvertear Falls, burst forth from beneath the waters of the lake and led a host of dragons against the Garlean airships overhead. In what would later become known as the Battle of Silvertear Skies, the Great Worm felled countless airships before engaging the Agrius. In the ensuing struggle, the flagship's Cerulean engines failed, and it tumbled into the lake below. Yet this victory came at a great cost, for the explosion which followed claimed the life of the Great Worm as well. That same explosion transformed Silvertear Falls into the desolate wasteland it is today, draining the lake of its waters and crystallizing ether for moms around. Yet a remnant of the lake remains, and at its center a constant reminder of the fateful day long ago. In accordance with Sir Americ's wishes, our Doman allies have been standing watch over the Keeper of the Lake. It would be wise to speak with them before investigating the wreckage yourself. Be careful, my friend. We know not what dangers await you within. Now then, let us not neglect our own tasks. There is much more to be done, and precious little time to do it. Out to Mordona. I think this dungeon's probably going to be the last thing I do today. Good cut off. There it is. We're going there. You're in luck, sir. I was about to send word to Revenant's Soul about the Garleans. Of late, I've seen small airships likely from Castrum Sentry come and go from the Keeper of the Lake. Though I cannot say for certain at this distance, I believe that they may be salvaging something from within the wreckage. The Castrum supply lines have been cut for some time. I'd wager they're desperately in need of some spare parts and other equipment. So it's true then. The Ishgardians honestly fear that the worm might rise again? Well, from here it seems rather unlikely, but if it's assurances they want, we've no choice but to inspect the corpse in its entirety. Easier said than done, given the creatures which inhabit the wreckage and the aforementioned Garleans who won't take kindly to your presence. They're sure to fire upon an airship, so I'll advise a more stealthy approach. Take this boat and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrius, then climb to the top. It's the only viable approach, I'd say. Dungeon unlocked. Duty. Less than 5-minute wait time. All right. Time to pull the dungeon. Says less than 5 minutes here. No, you cannot fight on your mount. He is slain. Parkour. Hardcore parkour. Was that about no fall damage? Oh, dungeon pop. Can I kill it before everyone else says yes? Yes. Let's go. Oh wait, I forgot.
My lord, we have received our orders. We are to pull the dungeon. Pull the dungeon. Pull the dungeon. The dungeon. The dungeon. Potion.
101 in RuneScape on wood cutting. Back. This one will die faster. No. Next area. Alright, going straight invincible. Here we go. Is FF14 leveling exponential? I don't know what you mean by that. It is pretty fast to level in this game. Okay, is everyone through? Person thing. Messing a person. Get in here, Yatsuyu. There we go. level cap in FF14 is 90. I'm already almost level 60. Oh. Hit the button. Oh, the dungeon. Potion on. Kill them all. We're down to 3 guys. 3 enemies left. While there is exponential leveling, you do get bonuses, massive bonuses and experience for helping players through content, which is why I'm able to find people to help me with these dungeons. The healer keeps dying. I survive again. And one of my team people just told me good job. Virtual leaves? What are those? So virtual levels? What you're talking about? Need to wait on the healer to get here. The healer is currently there. Almost here. down to 42%. And it's dead. To the top. Let's go. Alright, last wall pull. All three of you gather round. Hit. Move forward. This group together. About there. Alright, got it. We're at the end.
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet?
Yep. Alright. Get over here, you. Let's go. Dodging that. And that one too. He got the cheese touch. Those things took forever to do that. And all the time in the world for them to sit back while they shoot lasers across. Back. Ooh, healer got hit with that one. Oh, shit. Moved too early. Stack. Phantom Kin. Anyway, Carl the Ninja here says, like, share, and subscribe, or he'll commit tax fraud under your name. Tank Buster. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Didn't hurt, didn't hurt, didn't hurt. Completely invincible. You suck. Eric the elf, you mean? I can go right here. Here is good. The dragons are firing their lasers. Another tank buster. Yeah, sure it did say commit tax fraud. I'm firing my laser. Alright, there we go. And it is slain. killed a dragon ghost.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve.
Turn that.
Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided by a star. My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds.
This part's important.
We do not forget. We do not forgive. Seven children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end. Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent. Fear not, mortal. I shall not harm thee.
Guys, I think he just broke all my crack rocks. Yep.
Mayhap thou thinkest me an oath breaker. Thou art mistaken. If thou comest to harm, it shall be by another's hand, not
Crack rocks are dead.
I did but strip thee of thy mistress's feeble blessing. Thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more. Their covenant binds me to thee. I shall watch, listen, and wait. Fight and struggle, if it be thy will. Man hath ever coveted that which lieth beyond his grasp. I drink of her body, and thence doth mine own find new life. When it hath grown whole, the loyal and penitent shall rejoice. The dragon song heraldeth a beginning and an end.
I was beginning to fear the worst. What were those explosions I saw? Ah, but you shouldn't waste time talking with me. Alphino left a message stating that you were to return to the Rising Stones at once. Alright. We will return to the Rising Stones next time. Get back to town so I can log off. And we did it. Alright guys, that was a good one. Go ahead and shut this down. You guys have a good one. See you tomorrow.